my friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Alex. You're here at The Farm to You Reads, and today we are starting a weekly reading vlog. Fingers crossed that I make it. I really want to film and post a weekly reading vlog. I haven't done one in so long, and I just want to stop making excuses that I'm tired. Like, yeah, we're all tired, but I really want to be making content, especially YouTube content. So here we are. As you saw from the B-roll, I went on a hike yesterday with my very good bookish friend Jessica. I will leave her Bookstagram handle down below. You should go follow her. Perks Pages, very cute. Hello then. We went on a hike. I'm super sore, so that's why we're updating at 5:30 p.m. for the first time. It is Sunday, November 3rd, and I thought that I would start off the vlog by going over my current reads that are not part of the Book of the Month challenge. I did just do an update there, so if you recognize that outfit and the lighting situation on the shelves, that's Showbiz, baby. Okay. We need to talk about this. I am just struggling a little bit with getting through The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, and it is 1000% not the content. Like, I know by the end of this book it's going to have come together in just like this amazing Brandon Sanderson way, just like Mistborn did. Just haven't had like enough chunk of time to get through. Like, this is something that I need to just binge to finish, especially because also, as you saw, part of my adventure yesterday was a little Barnes & Noble run, so we will go through that as well. But I need to finish this because I did purchase Words of Radiance, and I really want to stick to my goal of completing the first 4 books of Stormlight Archive before book 5 comes out in December. So is it possible? We're gonna find out. I am also trying desperately to finish this trilogy, so I will go over this more in, I have a massive wrap up to film because I didn't do in August and I didn't do a September, and now we're gonna do in October. So I'm just gonna name it my like 2-hour fall wrap up, and actually really looking forward to filming that. It's gonna be pretty fun. So this was a buddy read with Allie that we DNF'd this last book, and I don't blame her because I don't know what happened after book 1. I was so looking forward to this series, and it just got so dry and boring after book 1. Like, I am just slogging. So I am just about 50% through. I have been consuming this mainly via audiobook while I drive back and forth to work, and I keep bringing the paperback around the house with me thinking that I'm gonna pick it up. It just isn't happening. So I do really want to finish. Like, these 2 things have been on my Goodreads probably since the first week of October, and they need to be gone because it's now the first week of November. So we need to do some damage here, and especially if I want to stick to this goal of like first time reading Stormlight Archive while the newest book comes out in December. I just think that is such a lofty but I can do it goal, but I'm just not sticking to it. Like, I need to get my ass in gear. So that's those. I am also currently, I would say, just about halfway through Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle, and this is so good. So this is following our main character, Misha, who is a queer horror screenwriter, and he works for this very much like Warner Brothers ripoff company in LA, and he is really well known for his queer horror, and he is now up for an Oscar for like this short film that he did, which interestingly enough is not queer horror, and I'm wondering if that will have something to do with the plot at some point by the end. But I'm just absolutely eating this. This is so good. I had posted a kind of like poll type thing on my Instagram with 5 library books that I literally have been renewing for like 2 months. Luckily, no one else has requested them, so I just keep renewing over and over again. And I posted 5 of those books on my Instagram, and I was like, someone just like, guys, just tell me which one to pick up next because I have to start either reading these or bringing them back, because if I haven't read them by now, then that kind of means I'm not interested. But a lot of people voted for this, and a lot of people give this 5 stars, and I read Camp Damascus via audio when it came out last fall, and I absolutely loved it. I gave that one 4 stars. This one already easily a 4-star, depending on how it ends, could be a 5-star. So I definitely recommend, and this cover absolutely slaps, and I will definitely be getting a physical copy of this for my shelves. So these are the current reads for the week that we need to absolutely focus on. I was really wanting to do some damage on The Way of Kings today / finish Bury Your Gaze, but alas, I am running behind on my book of the month challenge for the month of October. So I have about 170 pages, I think, of the last book for that. So it's 5:38 right now. I already ate kind of like an early dinner, so honestly we'll probably just put together like a pasta with cheese type of situation late night, or watching football. Laundry's still going, but the rest of the chores are done. So I'm feeling really like just motivated. As sore as my body is from that hike yesterday, I really feel like it gave me some motivation to kind of just like, you know, let's do a little bit more. Let's try a little bit harder, because, you know, I feel like a lot in my videos lately, I've just been like, I'm so tired. And like, yeah, like exercising more and just like less takeout, just things that I know will be better for me and my health. I'm just feeling motivated tonight, guys. Okay, so here's hoping we can stick with it. But I will come back up and go through the little Barnes haul, maybe change my scenery, go sit in the corner. I feel like that lighting, like if I go sit right there in that little nook, is gonna be chef's kiss. So I am going to go continue working on laundry and finish, hopefully, this book of the month read. I can probably get it done. It's 5:40 right now. I'm gonna try to get it done by 7, because if I get it done by 7, I feel like I could definitely pick up Bury Your Gaze and finish it tonight, because I really want to finish this tonight. I was reading this in bed last night, like with a little book light after my husband fell asleep, and it was honestly freaking me out. So this is really good. I'm really enjoying this. And then yeah, these other two, this is the week. I feel it. With that, TTYL, BRB, adios, bye. Hey, hello. I'm trying to not scream into the camera because it's past 10 o'clock and it's taken everything that I had in me to actually set up my camera and update, but like I really want to actually film a weekly vlog, and I was like, you know what? Even if all you do is update once a day at night and like do your reading update. Also, Danny is snoring, so we're just gonna deal with that. I did want to check in because I finished Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle and I loved this. So this was one of the books that I started out the week saying that I was like in the middle of hoping to finish this week. So I had about 100 pages left when I picked it up to hopefully finish for the evening, and I was able to finish, and holy cannoli, I loved this so much. Again, cover absolutely incredible. I can't wait to get a physical copy, but the story was, it just went in a direction that I did not expect. So I had listened to Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle last year, I think, via audiobook, and it was amazing. I loved it. This, even better. So I think I gave both 4 stars, but honestly, let me think about it, because this maybe, I don't know, it still feels like a 4-star, but I enjoyed it even more than I enjoyed Camp Damascus. So this follows Misha, who is a screenwriter who writes queer horror. I feel like I have talked about what this book is about, so editing me cut it out, but oh, here goes the camera because Cash Money wants to come hang out with us. Hey, buddy. Yeah. I'm just talking to the camera. Careful. So, in this book, we have Misha, who is a screenwriter that specializes in writing queer horror, and he's up for an Academy Award. And at the same time, he is being forced by the company that he works for to compromise his standards and his ideals and his writing for like what the studio wants. And he's grappling with that as he's also preparing to potentially accept an award for a short film that isn't, sorry buddy, oh my god, the static is so bad. We just all keep shocking each other. It's horrible, but hey. Yes. Hey. Hello. I'll pet you in a second. And while this is all happening, Misha starts getting some stalkers that are resembling characters that he has written in his queer horror writing. And that's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to spoil anything. I loved this. It was really fun to read. It was really readable. It was really creepy at times, which, like, reading books at night does not usually bother me, but this freaked me out a little bit the other night while I was reading it in bed. If you are interested in dabbling in horror and you want something that's not, like, super gruesome, but very atmospheric, very modern, this has obviously the theme of queer representation in Hollywood, which I thought Chuck Tingle did a great job of making it realistic, but not so in your face that it took away from how creepy the story actually was and the characters were. It did lose a star for me because I felt that a lot of the relationships weren't as strong as like I wanted them to be. Like, I didn't get that Misha and his boyfriend were like madly in love, and I know that a lot of that is because of Misha grappling with his own sexuality and his ideals, but also I would be reading a part and then the next paragraph would completely lose me. So I don't know if it was like the scenes were jumpy or if I was just like, I just found myself having to go back and like reread things. So just for that little like kind of choppiness for me personally, and then also the way that I just felt about the relationships, I feel is what influenced me to only give it 4 stars. But anyway, it was fantastic. It was really, really good. But yeah, like I said, if you are interested in horror that this does not have a lot of gruesomeness, not a ton, a little bit, of course. I'm tired, so now I don't even know what I'm saying. Reading vlog update. It's that I finished this book. I loved it. 4 stars. Read it. Editing me, you have got your work cut out for you. Look at these cats. And this snoring freaking puppy. To be so unbothered was weird for me personally. Okay, so let's talk about what else we have on the docket here. For the love. I literally texted Allie earlier and said that this book has changed me. Hey. Sweet girl. I texted Allie earlier and literally said that this book has changed me as a person and not in a good way. If I don't just finish this and then do a full review of the series and move on with my life, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I have about 100 pages left, which equates to over 5 hours of listening time on the audiobook. I don't know if I have it in me to continue reading tonight. So that's that. And then my sweet baby boy, The Way of Kings, is finally like really grabbing my attention in the last quarter, as we expected. So 300 pages left, I think. 725. Yeah, just about. I think I'll be able to finish this week for sure. It's Tuesday. We can do it. So I don't have a lot going on this week, but work is already just like I'm just failing it, Mr. Krabs. That's the best I can do. It's election day. It's just, my anxiety is just a little bit higher than it's been recently, but what are you gonna do? Just tried to, you know, remain positive and self-care however I knew how to self-care, and for me that was just losing myself in books, which is my favorite way, and spending time with my family who keeps snoring. So that's the update. We've got one book down for the reading vlog, and I will see you guys in the morning. Also, it's snowing and it's so cold out, so hopefully it will still be in the morning and we can do some b-roll. But y'all have a good night. I'm gonna go to bed. Okay, bye. Well, all right. Let's do an update on what we have gotten done this week. So it is now Friday, November 8th. I actually left work early and came home and worked from home for a little bit, as you saw, because it is, as you also saw, snowing in Colorado. We are under a winter storm advisory. Right, my husband's watching Mandalorian. It's so loud. So I have finished one book and I'll maybe never finish The Way of Kings. No, so I am literally sitting down after this tonight and I'm finishing The Way of Kings. It is finally getting good. I barely read it all week because my attention has just been on 8 million other things / books, and it just needs to get done. Like I said 20 times, I have the Words of Radiance. I bought it. I'm ready to read. I'm just ready to go. Let's go. So I have the physical downstairs. I was too lazy to bring it up. We are probably like 70%. We're on chapter 52 and we're at 69%. So I think I have like 300 pages left, maybe 250 of the physical, which I can get done tonight if I really sit down and focus. The other book, before we talk about what I did finish, as you saw from B-roll, I also started a new audiobook. I started The Phoenix Keeper by S.A. McLean, and I am now 43%, so almost halfway, and it's cute. It's very cute. It's sitting at a 3.5 for me so far. It's very cutesy cozy, and I don't think that's my type of fantasy. I think I am like a Bloodsworn Saga, Red Rising, Brandon Sanderson. Like, if someone's not getting muck ducked, I could not care less. I care more about the Phoenix Keeper than that, but I don't know. The main character her name is Ayla, and the premise of this book is that she is a Phoenix Keeper at this zoo in a magical world where like the continents, it's completely made up, but they have cell phones and they eat like very clearly like Mexican food and Vietnamese food, comfort, like I don't know. It's the dichotomy of it is almost too much for me. It's not urban fantasy. It's completely fantasy with like very awkward modern day things thrown in, and it's just not quite working for me, but I am enjoying the story of the actual zoo and the Phoenix like breeding program that Ayla is trying to get back going. So I'm gonna finish it for that. And also, I didn't read the synopsis at all. All I knew it was about magical zoos. Allie read it and loved it, gave it 5 stars. So I was like, let's do this. The female, so Ayla has a crush on this guy that works there, Connor, who is the dragon keeper. And it's very interesting because I was like, why doesn't she have any chemistry with this guy? She's very prone to anxiety. She has panic attacks a lot. She gets really nervous in crowds. She gets really nervous talking to people in general that like isn't her best friend Tanya. So once she finally does start talking to Connor, in my opinion, there's no sparks. It's like a very childish representation of a girl having a crush on like the cool guy, and he's like, it almost gives that he is like doing her a favor by talking to her and hanging out. I don't get the vibe, like I wasn't getting the vibe from him that he was actually interested in her in any way, shape, or form, other than just being like a nice guy that she works with. And then we get introduced to a character named Luciana, who Ayla goes on and on describing how gorgeous this girl is, and I'm like, wow, she's like into this girl. And then I was like, wait, is this gay? So I texted Allie and I'm like, is this gay? And she was like, yes, it's bisexual representation. I was like, thank G, you know, because her and Connor not working out, but now her and Luciana, chef's kiss. They have a very much enemies to lover. They have a very much rivals to lovers thing going on. They went to the same college and took all the same classes because they're both keepers of magical animals at this zoo. And finally, Ayla said that she had a crush on her when she was in college, and I was like, this got so much better. So it's still sitting at a 3.5, but that could change. I am very much enjoying it. I like the characters. I love all the magical creatures and the description of the aviary. It's very lush and like tropical in the aviary, and there's all these different areas of the zoo and different creatures and birds, and it's really fun to listen to. So it's just like a fun little time, which is like, it's just not serious enough for me to consider giving it more than a 3.5 right now, but we'll see. So those are the 2 reads that I'm currently reading. I am also reading a book of the month for my other challenge, for my book of the month backlist challenge. It is a series that I'm doing on this channel that has gotten really popular, and I'm really having a fun time doing, where I spin a wheel and read the 5 book of the month books that it tells me to read. So if you're interested in catching some of those episodes, I will put some cards up here. So we're not going to talk about that, but I am reading that. So 3 current reads. 2 of them are for this vlog, I should say. 2 of them are for this vlog, and we can talk about the book that I did finish, and holy cannoli do I have some things to say. So the book that I did finish so far in this reading vlog, which, wait, have I talked about Bury Your Gaze yet? Hold the phone. Did I? You know what? If I didn't, I'm just gonna come back to it at this point. So this is the second book that I finished. I did also finish Bury Your Gaze, and seriously hoping that I talked about it, because if not, whatever, we'll come back to it. I finished The Book of Life by Deborah Harkness. This is the third book in the All Souls trilogy, which follows Diana Bishop, a witch, falling in love with Matthew de Clermont, who is a like 1500-year-old vampire, and they are not supposed to be in love and they are not supposed to be together. So we spend 3 books and countless hours watching them do nothing. So this trilogy is probably, altogether now, the trilogy is probably one of the most disappointing reads of the year for me. I have been looking forward to reading this for years. This has been out for quite some time, this trilogy, and I love everything about it. I love the covers, I love the titles, I love the plot, the plethora of magical characters, the plethora of paranormal characters that we get in this like very rich historical fiction kind of setting, very Renaissance. But after book 1, so book 1 was a 5-star for me. It was very, very good. Book 2 and now book 3, it just got progressively worse and worse. So I gave book 2, which is called The Shadow of Night, 3 stars. So book 2 is when Diana time walks her and Matthew back to 1591 or 1501, 1561, something like that, to find a witch that will be able to train her more appropriately than apparently no witch in the entire universe in the modern day world can handle. And I'm like, I don't believe that, but whatever. So the entire second book takes place in the 1500s and it is boring. For example, we spend like 3 to 4 pages of just reading about Diana trying to figure out how to write, like as if she's in the 16th century so she doesn't give herself away. But then they give themselves away to anyone and everyone that will listen. They're like, I'm a witch and he's a vampire. We love each other and the congregation's out to get us. Like, y'all are not stealthy about this at all in any way, shape, or form. So book 2 was really dry. It was a lot of history. It was a lot of introducing new characters. And it was a lot of like nothing. We could have skipped book 2 and gotten right into this and probably done even some more editing and had a stunning duology. But instead we got a garbage trilogy. So Book of Life picks up right where book 2 left off again, which is with barely anything happening. And then, what can I say? We spend almost 600 pages continuing to read about nothing. Diana is, if you don't want spoilers, I suggest that you know what? We're not going to do spoilers. So I don't want to give anything away because this is book 3 of a trilogy and I'm doing my best to not do spoilers if possible. It seems to be the general consensus that is bad on the internet, but it's also really hard sometimes to talk about books without spoiling them. So what was I babbling about? Okay. The majority of the plot, if you even want to call it that in this one, is Diana and Matthew are separately trying to accomplish tasks that seem impossible, like every other thing has been impossible that they've done with these, to get a little bit closer to their goal of just living their lives without constantly being harassed and followed by the congregation and by Matthew's demon vampire child named Benjamin. So Matthew is insufferable in this one. He's so good in book 1. And then by book 3, just all he cares about is being psychotically obsessed with Diana and like her as a mate and his obsession with her. And like, it's touch her and you die vibes to like an exhausting point for me. I also hated the fact that blood rage was such a huge issue in this book, and Matthew suffers from that along with Jack. But as soon as they get in the blood rage, it seems like they very easily come back out of it. Like, it just wasn't a believable enough plotline for so much of the events that take place, especially in the second half of this book, to like matter related to the blood rage. I don't know. I could go on and on. I gave this 2 stars and I'm really upset to say that. Am I gonna keep this trilogy on my shelf? Yeah, because it's really like, I don't know, it's really pretty, but oh, I did not like this. I didn't really like book 2 and I really didn't like this one. I listened to it on audio because I just didn't see any way, shape, or form that I was gonna be able to get through this reading it. The POVs change instantly, and for some reason that I cannot possibly begin to comprehend, explain to you, Deborah Harkness chooses to write Diana's POVs in the first person and then everybody else in third person. So to me, it kept reading like it was Diana in a room describing what was happening, but really it would be a completely different POV that was just in third person. And that was trash. Like, where was that? There just felt like there was no editing on this. I'm being mean, but you know what? It's been a long week. So I did not care, but it's over. So that trilogy is done. I know that there's like another couple of books in the timeline that are more recent. I'm not picking them up. I am going to keep these books on my shelf for now. I don't know. We'll see. If I run out of room, we might get rid of them. It just sucks because book one was really good and the series just got really just boring to me. I don't know. Whatever. We're moving on. So I think I'm going to continue the vlog through tomorrow and then we're going to call it. So hopefully I will be able to finish at the very least The Way of Kings, come back for another update tomorrow, and then edit and post it in an appropriate amount of time. We'll see. All right. Talk to y'all later. Sup Togs. Okay, we're back. It is in full transparency now. Sunday, November 9th, I think, whatever. So I didn't update at all yesterday on Saturday because I napped a lot and pretty much just rotted and it felt great. I really needed it. I just feel, I feel like a new woman today. I showered real scrub-a-dubbed, exfoliated, skin cared. I feel good. I feel great. It is now 4:15 in the evening, so I was like, maybe I should update, close out this vlog. So I'm so excited to say that I finally finished The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I can't believe that this day has come. Please hold your applause until the end. I will take a bow, etc., etc. This was incredible. So this is the first of a series that takes place within the Cosmere, which is Brandon Sanderson's epic fantasy world. We also have another series that I have read that is part of the Cosmere is the original Mistborn trilogy. I read that first, and then the recommendation from one of my fave YouTubers, Reagan from Peru's Project, says that she, like, her recommended reading order was also the original Mistborn trilogy and then the Stormlight Archive, which The Way of Kings is book one. So we find ourselves following a shit ton of characters in classic B-Sans fashion. The main characters that this follows are Kaladin, who is now a slave working on bridge crews, which essentially run around like putting bridges across these plateaus, fighting the Parshendi in the Shattered Plains, which are prone to these crazy hurricanes on steroids. There's storms all the time that are really dangerous, and basically the Alethi, including the bridge crews that Kaladin is a slave to, are fighting this like alien non-humanoid race called the Parshendi. And so that's Kaladin. We also follow Dalinar, who is the nephew of the king. His brother Galavar was murdered by the Parshendi, which is what instigated this whole war, this like fight for the Shattered Plains territory. We also follow Shallan. She is the daughter of a former high prince that was murdered, and her family is really struggling. So she goes to the city of Kharbranth, I think is how it's pronounced, to apprentice with Jasna to steal something from her that will help her family out. So that is even more detailed than I thought I was going to be able to get, but yeah, that is a very broad strokes of the POVs that we are getting throughout this book. It was quite a struggle. I think I started this beginning of October and I just finished it the first week of November. A struggle in the sense that I just didn't have the time or energy to sit down and like read a good chunk out of it, but I am happy to say that I was so pleased with the way that this ended, like 5 stars easily. I was like, I'm gonna like Mistborn more. I already like this more. I immediately jumped into Words of Radiance, which is book 2. So we are still on track to finishing the first 4 books of Stormlight Archive before December 6th, which is when book 5 comes out. The Winds of Truth, I think is what it's called. I keep wanting to say Winds of Winter, but I'm 99% sure that's a Game of Thrones title. So yeah, I'm like 150 pages into this. This one is even longer, so I've got my work cut out for me. But that's the reading update. We finished this. So we finished The Way of Kings, we finished Bury Your Gaze, we finished The Book of Life, and I'm feeling strongly that we might have finished another one. I'll put it up here. But with that, I'm gonna close out this vlog. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I am just really happy to be here these days, so I'm hoping to put out a lot more videos throughout the winter and 2025. I think we all need the enjoyment and the dopamine right now. So with that, have a great whatever, wherever you are, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Okay, good night, bye, peace out.